Hi everyone, it's April with Hair 101 and I'm going to show you how to do a chunky blonde weave today. She wants to have really big defined chunks between the natural color that she has now and the blonde. So we're gonna have some fun with that. And I want to let you guys know that we just finished our music video parody to Teach Me How to Dougie, but it's Teach Me How to Cut It. And I want you guys to go and check that out. So we're putting a link right here so that you guys can watch it and hopefully it puts a smile on your face and inspires you to learn how to cut some hair and share it with all of your friends and let me know how you guys like it. If you guys want to see more videos like that, then you have to share it and you have to make sure you comment and give it a thumbs up so that I know that you like it. So let's get started. I'm going to part her hair. She does a really far side part on the right. So I'm going to make sure that I part a little bit below that, like a 1/2 inch below that. And on this side also, I'm going to part right there. So I'm kind of shifting the mohawk section just over her part so that when I do the stripes, there's a little bit on both sides of her part so that she doesn't have one side that's all stripy and the other side that's a solid color, because that is not what I want to do. That's why I'm saying to do that. Okay, so I'm doing kind of a round shape on this section on the top of her head. You want to be able to fit a foil without having too much of the ends lifting up. So it needs to be kind of on the thinner side so that the foils can lay more flat, and that way you keep the color closer to the scalp. Okay, so here's my parting, here's my section. And I'm going to clip this off, clip it up tight. And now I have this underneath. I'm just going to part right below her ears.
Holy cow.
Turn my phone off.
Not my phone.
So I just went right below the ears and parted this up. And we're going to leave all of this underneath here dark, but we want to be able to kind of protect it. And here's another thing. She is kind of indecisive on whether or not she wants to go a little bit more blonde later on this summer, so we're not putting any more color into her hair. You could also go in and do like a really deep brown with this so that it was a really contrasting colors. You could do a brown and a blonde, but we're just going to try to leave as much of her natural color in as we can so that, because we've noticed she likes to change her hair a lot. So the less we do to her hair, the better, because when she changes it the next time, she won't have as much damage. I mixed up the Firmisi Decolor Cream with a 30 volume because she wants it really light. And then I'm just going to put some conditioner in the bowl. And I'm going to use this instead of, ooh, I just squirted it on the floor. Instead of a brown color, because it will protect the hair from getting bleach on it, and it will keep the hair kind of smoothed down. So back here, just to keep all this hair out of the way, I'm just going to smooth the conditioner on just at the roots, because the ends should be protected from the foils. And that's going to keep all of this down, and I'm even going to stick a foil on top of it, and it's just going to help me keep all my sectioning really clean so that this line doesn't get a bunch of bleeding into it and stuff. So now that conditioner is holding it on, sticking it on nice and tight, and then the clip just holds it to the hair. So now we can let down this middle section, and I'm going to be taking vertical sections throughout her hair, and we're going to go all the way around. And I'm going to do 3 thin slices of the blonde and then leave about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the brown left out with just a little bit of conditioner on it. We're going to work all the way around from this side of her head all the way to the other side. Okay, so just tilt her head a little bit away. Do you want the blonde to be closest to your face, or you want to keep it brown?
Brown.
I would say keep it brown.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even have asked you. Just kidding. Okay, the reason why I think we should keep this brown up by the front of the face is when she sticks it in a ponytail, this brown will cover up the line of the blonde and it will make it blend a little bit better. So I'm leaving just that front section brown, and you can stick a little bit of the conditioner on there just to protect it and keep the line really clean. And then I am going to fork forward. So now that that conditioner's there, the foil will really stick to it nice. And I'm taking full slices. So a slice is the entire little section of hair. It only needs to be like 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 would be the most, but I would do 1/8 of an inch thick. And then you're gonna take your foils, and I just make a little crease and stick my comb in, and then I push it right against where the conditioner is and make it nice and tight. And then you're gonna take the lightener and you're gonna cover the entire piece of the hair. And you're going to do 3 of these little slices in a row. And you need to work quick. And also, the reason why we're doing it thinner is because we want to make sure that the hair is very saturated. If you don't saturate the lightener through the entire section of hair, then you will end up getting hot spots. And someone was asking me about that. And that is why you're getting hot spots. It's a little circle down in here that didn't get processed, and it's a little like a blob of color left in the hair. And it looks kind of like a polka dot. And we don't want polka dots, trust me. So I'm gonna do 3 of these really thin slices in a row. If you want a little bit thicker sections, then you can take 4. And if you want a little bit thinner, then you could do 2. But I would definitely do at least 2 to get the chunking effect, because 1 would be, you could do 1, but it would be very, very subtle, which could be very pretty too. But if for this specific look, we're doing a chunkier look. Okay, so we have the 3 foils. You can see it's going to be a chunk about this thick. And now we're going to take an equal sized chunk out and just, ooh, stuck behind the ear. There we go. And just pull that forward and put the conditioner on it. And that's going to help the next set of blonde foils stick to it. And it kind of keeps it up and out of the way, so it keeps it really clean. And if it was the brown, you would just be, you could take that whole section and just paint it brown all in one foil and just make sure you get both sides if you were trying to do a brown and blonde chunk. And you need to be careful not to squish your foils because it will push the bleach, the lightener, it will push it back out of the foil onto the scalp, and you don't want to do that. So just make sure you're using gentle folds when you're folding it up and that you're not squishing the main part of the packet with all the color in it. And if you're worried about it getting both sides, you can roll it up and then down, and that will kind of roll the hair shaft back and forth and get it completely coated. And if a little bit of conditioner gets on, it's okay. The bleach will still, it should still eat through it. That sounds scary. Bleach eating through your hair. Don't be scared, Ashley. And if you need to go back and count, then it's really easy. If you were doing all of them foiled, it would be easy too. You would just have to lift it up a little bit. You could see the roots, what ones are brown, what ones are blonde. I'm going to show you another technique. You can just leave the foils open like this if you want. And this is really fast. It takes a little bit more foils sometimes, but you just lay them on top of each other and you take up your 3 sections. You have to keep a little bit better track of your count with this because it's not as easy to pull the foils up and count them. Well, I guess counting's easy. This is fine too. And so you just keep stacking the foils on. This is my last light one. And this is really fun. And this works great with long hair because you don't have to fold the foil. You don't have to waste that time folding the foil. And then on top, this will be the conditioner section. So you take the big one and then you just condition that all the way over. Same idea, just kind of keeping it up. And then the foil will stick to that. And then you will just grab. Now over here, this is a thicker section because I put the mohawk section tilted to her part. So keep that in mind that we're gonna have a little bit more hair that we're dealing with on this side if you've done it like that. You can do it right down the middle if they don't part on the side like that, and it would be more even, but for her, we're gonna have more hair over here. She has some pink that she did in here a little bit ago. And in the blonde sections, I'm just going over it and hoping that it doesn't melt out because she wants to kind of get rid of some of it. Didn't sound good. But I'm leaving the pink out in the brown and maybe we'll just recolor that. Oh, that's gonna be lovely. Okay. So now see, this is where it can get confusing. You gotta count how many, oh, here we go. So we've done 1, 2, that's my third. So we're gonna go on the conditioner one again. And this is where the majority of her pink is anyway, so we're gonna have a big brown chunk here. Big brown and pink chunk. So I can retouch this pink later on and brighten it up if she wants to keep it because we're not doing the brown. If we were coloring the brown and this situation came up, I would just put the brown color right over it and it would have a little bit of a pink undertone, but the brown would make it blend so you wouldn't really be able to notice it at all. I'm putting the bleach on the pink, but because it's already been bleached out, it should lift out pretty fast if it's not completely stained on there. So I'm gonna have to go back through and check these blonde pieces after we get the color on and just take out the bleach off of the pink area so that it doesn't get gummy and over processed. So that's kind of a little bit of a problem area, but she doesn't want it anymore, so we do need to take it out, and you can see it's already lightening up. This is what it was before. So I'm just gonna keep a good eye on that as we work and check on it every couple minutes. And I'll probably have to spray bottle those few little foils out, just in the pink section or something. We'll see how it happens. It's a little bit pink, but I'm gonna go ahead right here and just pick out, the roots are okay because that needs to be lightened more, but just pick out the part that had the pink on it that's lightened now. And I'm gonna put this on a towel and spray just this piece out just to save this hair because otherwise it will melt off, I can promise you that. And if you have a spray that has, oh, there's one, I think Paul Mitchell makes it. It's like no H2O2, and it takes, it kind of like neutralizes the action of the bleach. But I'm gonna take this and just to protect it, I'm gonna fold it out of the bleach. And it's been sprayed off, so that's what we're gonna do with anything that was bleached previously that, because remember my rule, you guys, bleach it once it's blonde, bleach it twice it's gone. I promise you, this was lightened so light to that pale, pale, pale white color that if we were not doing this, it would turn into like bubble gum and just melt off. Just this little piece. And that wouldn't be the end of the world because she has a lot of hair and she probably would not even notice. But if you are aware of it, you should try to save the hair because It's annoying to have this short little funky piece in your hair. Okay, so now you can see the difference between these two techniques of the folding the foils in. I think it looks really pretty to have them all nice and tight and you can move them a little bit. This is a little bit more messy and it will drip a little bit. You can take all the ends and just fold them over, and you can even tilt the bottom of it up just to keep the color from running down, because bleaches tend to swell and run a little bit, especially when they start to get warm from the heat of the head. So I'm just gonna fold it up and fold it back. It's not as pretty that way, but it was faster. You notice that that side was a little bit faster. Now we're gonna move to the top. We will be slicing the top also, and right by her face, I'm just going to take 1/4 of an inch and leave that out. It's not going to be as big of a chunk as the sides where we did like 1/2 of an inch, because I want her to feel more blonde. Sorry. Oh, how to use my phone. There we go. YouTube's blowing up from the hair video, the teach me how to cut it. You guys better go watch it. Like 10 times. Memorize all the words. So a funny story, when I was in beauty school, the first time someone wanted chunks like this, I thought that it was just a really thick weave. And I didn't realize that it was actually just taking an entire slice. They were like, oh yeah, just slice the hair. The teacher was like, yeah, just slice it. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll slice it. I didn't know what that meant. Like, I got the hair out and I was like, chunk, 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 whatever that means. Come to find out, a slice is just the entire section goes in the foil and the entire section gets colored. And I really don't know why that didn't click, but it didn't. And then I've never forgotten though since, because the girl was like, my hair does not look stripy. I wanted it kind of chunky. And here's the thing, if you do too many slices in a row, it does look very stripy, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I usually do on the top, I'll do, like the sides, it's okay if those are stripy because they're like this way and the hair is falling this way, but on the top you have the part and it splits open and you will see these candy cane stripes if you do all of the foils a perfect slice like this. And if they want that, then that's cool. But I think it's good to make it really different on the top and have a lot of variety. So I'll do a thicker chunk and then I'll do a little bit of the natural left out. And then I'll come back in here and this one will just be a really chunky weave. So I'll just take like half, like 3 big chunks, maybe leave out 2 brown pieces. And that will break up that line so it's not so stripy. And then I'll tell you when I get to it. So I think I did 2 foils. I left out some brown, then I did 2 foils of blonde, then I left out like 1/4 of an inch of brown again, and then I did a chunky blonde. And then I'll leave a teeny bit, like 1/4 of an inch of the brown again, and then do another chunk, like a 2 or 3 foil. Probably even a 3 foil this time to make it a really big chunk back here. And I need more color. I'm doing the same thing on top, just layering. I did the first few folded because I wanted to keep them away from her face so she could see. But now she still can't see because I have all the hair in her face. There we go.
It's okay.
It's always nice to let your clients use their eyes while they're getting their hair done by moving the hair and the foils away from their face so that you can see them and talk to them, even though we're not talking right now. But you know what I mean. This is going to be a conditioner one. Well, I better take some more because that was kind of thin for conditioner. There we go. So this is my niece. That makes me feel really old because she's like a woman. And she was just telling me that she was celebrating her 7th anniversary. And it's the 7th anniversary of her liver transplant. She was born with a crappy liver, right? Did not work right. And so it's been 7 years. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Feel good?
Yeah.
How many times have you been in rejection?
Twice.
But she's doing really good right now, so we are very happy. And yeah, there you go. That's what we were talking about. So we've been doing this for 40 minutes now, and we are just about to finish. And it would probably have taken a little bit longer if you did the brown instead of the conditioner. So I'm not bragging. I'm not like saying I'm the fastest in the world, but that's just to kind of give you an idea of how long the first foils have been on. And if you feel like you're slow with this and you're worried about the foils that we first started on right here processing a little bit too fast, you can do a 10 volume lower on the developer when you first start out. And I'm going to leave all of this brown, this whole chunk. We're done. So we're going to let this process. I'm going to stick her under the dryer because, like I said, this side over here has been on for 40 minutes. I want to hurry and speed this up on the top and this side and just get it done as fast as we can. I've gone through and sprayed out the pink sections that were bleached out a little bit more. There's still a little teeny tinge pink, but that's better than gone. So it'll be fine. And we're going to retouch the pink later on that's left out into the brown. So I'm going to stick her under the dryer. So she processed under the dryer for 15 minutes with some heat, and we are now ready to rinse it out. And I think I'm going to do a toner too. I think I'm going to tone with a 9. Do you want to be like a platinum-y blonde, or do you want to do like a silvery blonde?
I don't know. What do you think will look good?
We could do the titanium, or we could do, let's do the titanium. We're going to tone it with the 9T in the Redken Shades EQ. So we're doing 1 ounce of the 9T and a 1/2 ounce of the crystal clear and 1.5 ounces of the processing solution. And then I'm just going to squirt this through the hair really quick. And I just watch it with these because it can take on too much of the silver color if you let it process for too long. Tilt your head a little bit to the side. There you go. Gotta get it underneath here. Okay, go ahead and lay down. So you can see it's already starting to get that really white platinum-y color. We're just going to watch it and massage it in and make sure that it gets all over all of the blonde pieces. It's stinky. It smells so good though. Okay, so as soon as you start it, if it starts turning gray, you're going to want to rinse it out really quick. You want to rinse it out right before it starts to turn that ashy gray color. And then I'm going to shampoo and condition. Just normally, just whatever. That's word that I made up normally. It's not a real word, is it? Sometimes I say words and I don't know if they're real words or not real words. But don't put this in the video, please don't. So now we have these pink chunks that we left alone that need to be refreshed. And the ends will be a little bit deeper pink because it's not so light. But I'm using these Urban Shock Color Craze Hot Pink. It's from Scruples and they smell really good. But you apply them to clean towel dried hair. And they're a deposit only, so they aren't going to be lifting out the hair. And that's why you should do these on bleached out hair or to refresh the color. But since we didn't really know that we wanted to retouch it until the end, it's still going to have the roots, but it'll be okay. Maybe the next time she comes in, we will bleach out the regrowth and then do it that time. Because you don't have to do it every single time because it's underneath. So this is something you could do every other time. And I took that entire section and I'm just going to make sure that I saturate both sides just by flipping over the foil and opening it the other way. That exposes the underside that we couldn't see that was against the foil. So, and then foil that up. And these process for, I think, 10 to 15 minutes. Let me make sure on that. 15 minutes. So as soon as these are done, we will hurry and wash your hair one more time and then blow dry it, and you will see the finished product with the refreshed pink and the blonde and the brown, and it will be beautiful. And that's the end. So to prevent the pink from bleeding into the blonde pieces, I just pulled the two foils out and kept them in my hand and washed them just in my hand separate from the rest of her hair, because I want to make sure that I get all this pink shampoo, pink color residue out. And then I'm using a cold shampoo or a cold water, and I'm going to keep doing this until the shampoo is not turning pink anymore. So this is the second time I've rinsed it out. I'm going to do it one more time, make sure that we got all of that color residue out, because we do not want this to be bleeding too much into the blonde. And I'm also going to tell you, Ashley, you need to make sure that you wash your hair in cooler water for a little while so that you don't bleed this together. And if you have a light pillowcase, I would probably switch it for a darker brown one, just
I have a
because
red one.
while you sleep, this can kind of leave a residue of color on your pillowcases and stain. All right, we are all done with her color, and we've just styled it up. We retouched her pink. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this, or a little bit of this color now. So you can see when she looks up, she has some stripes, but they're not all exactly perfect. It's a little bit off, but it's like different lengths. And then this is really fun underneath here. She has all these really chunky stripes. They're very defined. And that's what doing the vertical foils does. And we'll show you this side over here without the pink. And another thing that I want you to take note of is, because we did the mohawk on a slant, she has really nice color all the way down to her scalp. And if we would have just done the mohawk right there, that's where this one would have parted, and she would have had dark roots, because when the foils, if you take a little bit too big of a section, sometimes it would look more like that, where you have a little bit of a space because the foil just lifts away from the head a little bit because it's starting to curve. So that's a little trick that you guys can use, and I hope that this was helpful for you guys. And I hope you guys try this on someone soon so that you can give them some chunky highlights. And let me know how it goes, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends that are in hair school or anyone wanting to learn how to do hair, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.